What it will be 6.75 watts in 1 second, right? Now in one day, how many seconds are there? Well, 60 seconds in 1 minute, 60 minutes in 1 hour, 24. So there are total 6.75 watt many these seconds. So that is the energy absorbed by the human body. Now what is the microwave power? 500 watt. So you take this energy, divide by this. So what they are saying as a safe limit is that you can put a human body safely in a microwave oven for 90 minutes per day. How many of you are interested to put yourself in 90 minutes per day? How many of you would like to keep your children in a microwave oven for that much time? See, these are the ridiculous norms we have adopted in our country. So now I'll show you also some of the measurements which we did around. So there is another simple equation again. So what is the power received by an antenna? The power received by the antenna is given by this equation here. But we already know what is the power density. I have just done that. Power density multiplied by the effective area of the antenna is nothing but power received by the antenna. And that is translated in another equation here. So which is what is the gain of the receive antenna and what is at what frequency we are operating. So that is the wavelength. So we have just taken a case here. So the transmitted power is 20 watt, transmitting gain 50, just as before. I had used a monopole antenna to do the measurement. So that monopole antenna had a gain of 2 dB. Contrary to what you teach in your class, monopole antenna has a gain of 5 dB. See, that gain of 5 dB of monopole antenna happens only for infinite ground plane. For finite ground plane, gain is much smaller. And receive power at 50 meter, I just did some of those calculations. So at 940, this is the power level. At this is the power level. And then I also calculated power density at 50 meter, which is already there in the previous table. I just repeated. Is 31,800 microwatt per meter square. Now see, this definitely is within the limit adopted by Government of India. What we have adopted? Even at GSM 900, we have adopted 4.7 watt per meter square. In fact, most of the time, operators are claiming very simple thing. They are playing a very safe game. We are within the radiation norm adopted by Government of India. So we are doing nothing wrong, okay? As simple as that. So let's just look at some of these things now, what we have done the measurement. And so this is the radiation level, which is minus 20 to minus 30 dB, which we measured. At 100 meter, these are the levels which we measured. And you can see that the variation is there, because depending upon whether you are in the main beam, off main beam, and so on. In fact, that measured power is less than theoretically calculated power, because I am not always in the main beam, right? So I am actually in the off main beam. So you can see that, and also if we do the measurement inside the building, then concrete also does the reduction in the radiation. So we are not measuring more than what is theoretical possible, right? Now let's just tell you one additional thing. See, a mobile phone requires only minus 80 to minus 100 dBm of power, okay? If it shows full strength at minus 70 dBm, then what would be minus 20 dBm will be? 20 dBm minus 70 dBm difference is 50 dB. 50 dB is equivalent to 100,000. Okay, so at most of these places we found 100,000 to 1 million times stronger signal than your mobile phone requires. Okay, here is now some of the cases which we actually did the measurement. So one of the top list is actually I have gone to Delhi. I was staying in a Gurgaon guest house. Right from the guest house, I had this radiation monitor, so I was measuring the radiation level starting from that. And just this place near Delhi Gurgaon highway, there is a toll naka here. I have actually written 3 towers, but in reality there are 4 towers. This radiation level went to 0 dBm. Now this 0 dBm, imagine compared to your mobile phone which requires minus 70 dBm, it is 10 to 70 dB. 70 dB means 10 to the power 7. 10 to the power 7, can you imagine 1 crore times more than your mobile phone requires to show the full signal strength, and that is on the highway. Imagine for the people who are living close to it. So this is the 0, just see what is the reading here. Well, 1,21,000. But still this reading is within the norms what we have adopted in our country, okay? So they are safe, that is what they are all the time saying. See, we are following the radiation norms adopted in India. Okay? We did measurement in a lady house. She developed cancer within 1 year of installation of the cell tower. In her house, the radiation level was -6. With 30,400 radiation, you can develop a cancer in 1 year. So we have done lots of measurement, like in Gurgaon, in Kharghar, Godrej Colony, Durbe. I can tell you, almost on all the bridges these days, there are cell towers. Almost on all those bridges, the radiation level is between -10 to -20 dBm. In fact, one day I felt really bad myself because there was a total traffic jam and we were there for almost 15-20 minutes. And that 15-20 minutes was enough to make me comfort because I am sensitive to the radiation. So this is what I wanted to show you here. This is the tower location is here. These are the windows. And this is, see the radiation level -4, -6, -6, -4, -6. Of course, as you go away, there is a -10. In the other room, the radiation level, you can see in this corner, fortunately, radiation level is less. And that lady spent most of her time in this particular room. She was an old lady and she had some problem, of course, so definitely 1 year thing happened because also your resistive power is relatively small and it's a 24-hour exposure, non-stop exposure, and then she had a problem. She developed cancer within 1 year. And see, a non-stop exposure is definitely more dangerous than exposure at intermittent time. I'll just give a very simple example. This is a ball pen. I do it once, nothing happened, right? If I do this thing 1,000 times at the same place, chances are there may be puncture, right? And I may start feeling the pain maybe after 100 times or 200 times. And if I tell you that I'm having pain, what are you going to say? Hey, yaar, dikhta to nahi hai, nothing, I can't see anything here, right? But I can feel the pain, but others will not realize that I am feeling the pain. You will be only able to see when this thing is punctured. And remember one thing, maybe first 999 times it didn't get punctured. It is only that last, that 1000th one which made it puncture, right? It is not that 1000th one did the damage. The damage happened slowly. So again, now think about this pen, you can't see it, but this radiation is hitting you. So now it is that invisible danger which is threatening you. Okay, this is another one which I would like to mention here. Serious health concern regarding current safety guidelines. Again, this is 2001, so it is not that it was not known. 2001 is 9 years back. At this level, we have a sleep disorder. At this level here, you can see childhood leukemia at this particular level. You can see all of these headache, dizziness and all that. Now compare this here and we have adopted this level, right at the top. Can you imagine what is this compared to 1? It is 10,000. So these are the radiation guidelines which we have adopted. Environment Ministry itself has now challenged these radiation norms. So they have challenged Ministry of Department of Telecommunication. So there is this inter-ministerial group is there. So there, the person from Cellular Operator Association of India, Mr. Vachan Matthew, so he made a presentation. When he made a presentation, he presented WHO report, this ICNIRP guideline and all that. He said, I just made one statement after his lecture was there. I said, you have shown one side of the coin, I will show the other side of the coin. You know what was his immediate question? What is your commercial interest? It's just like this, what is your commercial interest? Okay, because see, I tell you, I am also an entrepreneur, right? So I also have my own company. I have developed products, as I said. In fact, this product is a radiation shield. And that is what I'm saying. I'm an anti-business for this particular part at least, right? The DOT people said, so what is the solution? I said, solution is very simple. Adopt stricter radiation norm. Okay, strict radiation norm means now each tower will not transmit as much power as it is doing right now. The solution is to have more number of towers and each tower should transmit about 1/100th of the power rather than what you are doing it, so that the people are safe. I tell you another very real correct incident. Now what these operators have done, Now one IIT Bombay professor is saying something, so they brought IIT Madras professor. I'll give you the names because there is nothing wrong, nothing hidden, even he is not hiding anything. So he is also clean in his respect. Name is Bhaskar Ramurthy. So COI people are actually doing the measurement through IIT Chennai, and they are doing the measurements at various places. And what they are writing, very simple thing, these are the actual measured values. See, I am not challenging the measured values. What I am challenging is the norm. So I actually wrote an email to him. So I'll tell you what he wrote back. He said, I am not a biology professor or something. I don't understand these things. All we have done is we have done the radiation measurement and we have found these radiation values are within the norm. I am not challenging the norm. I am not talking about anything. I am simply stating what is the fact. So it's absolutely clean, right? But what people read, IIT Madras professor says, we are within the norm, it is safe. This is, as I said, it is more my daughter's work, so I just run through it. You know, when you live close to the cell tower, this is how your body is. All those hot and cold spots are created, okay? So most common complaints are sleep disruption, headache, depression, discomfort, irritability, nausea, dizziness, appetite loss, muscle spasm and other things. And more severe reactions such as paralysis, stroke and so on. Now what it really does, this is more related to the mobile phone. So what it does is it's actually blood-brain barrier problem creates. See, this is how the thing is without the radiation. This is what happens after the radiation is exposed. It can create a lot of these kind of diseases, especially more related to the mobile phone than to the cell tower. It also causes DNA damage. I tell you what really happens when this microwave radiation comes to our body, corresponding to 900 megahertz, wavelength is 33 centimeters. So lambda by 4 is 8 centimeters. That is in free space. Inside the dielectric, wavelength is reduced further. So what happens if you have a multiple resonances in the body? So there is a maxima, minima, maxima, right? So wherever there is a maxima, it will have a heating effect. Wherever there is a minima, there is a no heating effect. So it actually creates hot and cold spots within the body. So what happens if you have a hot and cold spots within the body, then the blood starts getting cluttered, right? So there are different things. Sleep disorder is one of the first thing which really happens. Infertility problem is increasing. This is again related to mobile phone. That for adult the penetration is about 25%, for a young child it is 75%, and this is for a 10-year-old child which is 50%. So for younger children it's having a lot of problem. This is the effect on the skin. This is what you can see that it is happening. Tinnitus and ear damage. It starts with warm sensation, then pain, then tinnitus, then irreversible hearing loss. Okay, in fact when I gave a similar presentation at KEM hospital, a lot of doctors came and they said that in the past they are receiving lots of cases now, especially the teenagers who are having hearing loss as well as they are having tumor in the ear. Interphone study, they say that half hour use per day in about 8 to 10 years leads to brain cancer. In fact, it also creates problem to the eyes because eyes, whichever depending upon which one, whether you use left hand or you use right hand, which side it is. So in the normal time, this is the normal focused eye. This is what is happening after exposure to the microwave radiation. Okay? That also leads to melatonin reduction. It has lots of those other implications, cancer, miscarriage, DNA damage and so on and so forth. And you can see they are greater than 25 minutes per day prolonged use. And it's again 97, 2002, different people are actually reporting these things. But most of these things are hidden from Indian people. Increase in cancer risk, you can see that lot of these gory picture, and I want to tell something very strange here. In fact, there was one doctor who actually, has treated a lot of cancer patients. So we asked somebody else that if I could, meet those people, we could probably do some measurement in their houses and other things. This doctor simply refused. You know why? He says, yeah, every cancer patient is worth few lakhs of rupees. It's such a fantastic business for me. Why should I tell people that there is a problem? So this is where we are leading to. In fact, there's another incident I want to tell you. I actually talked to another person. His wife had a cancer. So I said I would like to take your interview, maybe call the press people and other thing. You know what he said? I don't want to be harassed by media people or press people. I already have a problem, my wife is suffering and I don't care if others suffer or not. Okay, so these are the kind of mentality people have, that I have suffered, let others suffer, right? This is the mentality many of these people are having. Now, another thing which I would like to mention here, that is the effect on environment. In fact, I'll ask a simple question. Have you ever seen any bird near the cell tower? You will never actually. You know why? The birds, by virtue of their light weight and large volume, they can fly, right? So what happens, let's take a case of an example of a pigeon. So their volume is more, that means their surface area is more. So if the surface area is more, they will absorb more power. And power absorbed is more, but their weight is very less. So the blood or fluid or whatever you would like to say, quantity to be heated is very small. So that effect is much more on that. And that is why, you know, the honeybees are disappearing, butterflies are disappearing. In fact, I want to quote one more incident here, that after I reported this for that Gurgaon, that 0 dB power, and according to the owner own statement, पहले यहाँ पे 100 lemon होते थे, now there are only 2 lemon corresponding to that. So the fruit yield has decreased that much. Then later on I even met the horticulturist, that lady. In fact, she was the first one to notice that this farmhouse is there for last 10 years. It's a fully fruit bearing trees are there. And in fact, almost most of the trees, what they were saying, that the flower comes there, but fruit never comes, okay, or the production is reduced drastically. And it is logical. See a lemon, take an example of lemon which he was talking about. Lemon has more than 90% fluid. Now if that fluid is getting dried up with the constant radiation, naturally it is going to go down. So now it's not only the human, it's not only the animals, it's not the birds, but it's also the trees, fruits, which in fact I got another thing from Kerala. They are actually noticing water inside the coconut is getting dried up. You know, it is penetrating that coconut and the water is getting dried up. And in fact, I have already mentioned about interphone study. For every 100 hours of use, 26% risk. Initial 25% was 24%. You know why? Because they took average user as a 2 hours per month. You know, that comes to 4 minutes per day. Naturally, those people are not having any problem, because already we say up to 6 minutes it is safe. And half hour per day user double to quadruple brain tumor. And very interesting thing now. Now this study did not include children, and now they are getting another millions of dollars to study only on, and the study name is MobiKit, and that is now, so more millions of dollars will pour in. And the same interphone study, conclusion if you read, it says no conclusive evidences, no conclusive correlation has been found. Do you think that this is not conclusive? Now Sweden was one of the first countries that claimed 100% mobile connectivity. 10 years down the road, their citizens are paying price. Out of 90 lakh people, 2.5 lakh are now allergic to mobile phone ready. Now these are some of the case studies within our own country also. Near in Maharashtra, somebody has uploaded these things, so I just downloaded from here. Okay. In the BlackBerry mobile phone, it says very clearly, keep the device at least 25 mm from your body and should not be worn or carried on the body. Now see, tomorrow if you say that you are having a health problem because of BlackBerry radiation, they have cleaned themselves. They will say, well, we have written this warning, you are keeping it closer than 25. How will you prove that you never kept close to 25? So I would like to say at the end only one simple thing. If we have a glass, you can pour some water, and there will be a time when it comes, you can't even take one more drop. Similarly, our body can absorb radiation up to certain limit, and once the limit crosses, well, things will start happening in a very bad way. See, in India we have 4.5 lakh cell towers. At least 1 lakh of these cell towers are in very dense area. At least 100 of people are living within about 10 to 20 meter distance from that. Radiation levels are high. So minimum 1 crore people will suffer within 2 years if we don't do something today. Okay. So I'll just like to conclude with that you know that in it's not just the cell tower, there is a radiation from cell phone, computers, laptop, TV, FM, and it is all additive in nature. Stricter radiation norm must be enforced in India. Now see, this does not mean, I don't want to see that we should stop living the towers. We all know automobiles create pollution. Have you stopped driving or traveling? Not really, right? So there's a solution for everything. So what happened? We came up with unleaded petrol. Unleaded petrol is definitely more expensive than leaded petrol. So again, if the operators admit there is a radiation problem, will you stop using mobile phone? Not really. You will be careful, right? So that's what I want to mention here. They should not be in the denial mode and accept radiation causes health problem. Only then people all over the world will carry out research to come up with better solutions.